Hey YouTube, welcome back to Secret Tools. Today we're talking about a brand new flashlight that's trying to take on one of the most popular flashlights on the market. So let's go ahead and get into that on Tinker with Tools. Now about a month ago, ThruNite reached out to me and asked if I would review their brand new ThruNite Defender 3-in-1 flat light, which was going to be very comparable to a flashlight that I already owned. Now, it's not uncommon to get asked to review a product for a company, but where it got particularly interesting was they actually were asking me to compare it to the Arkfeld Pro from Olight, which it's definitely going after with its design and even its specs and features. So in full disclosure, I did receive this light at no cost to me in exchange for doing a review. The opinions are still going to be my own, but I do like to disclose any relationship that I have with the company prior to the video so you can factor that in your decision-making process. But now let's go ahead and get to the light. So if you're not familiar with this type of light, is going to be one of the newer styles of EDC flashlight, which is going to give you, in my opinion, a unique, more pocketable flashlight that's going to have a fair amount of features on it. So let's go ahead and kind of talk basic specs of the flashlights. Now the flashlight that I have from Olight is going to be their Arkfeld Pro. This is kind of the mid-tier of the Arkfeld lineup. 3 lights in one, and you control everything from that dial. Same thing over here. This one is going to be kind of the only flat light that they currently have right now that is going up against the competition, but the specs are going to be a little bit higher on this one, and it features one extra feature on this little wheel that we're going to talk about right now. So over here on the Olight, you do have 3 different kind of functions on this light. You're going to have a selector switch for the UV, the laser pointer, and the white light. When you go to whichever one you want, there's a nice little arrow to indicate, and then flip the switch. It's going to go ahead and turn it on. And then from there, the button in the middle is going to be how you control that different mode. So for example, on the white light, pressing and holding will kind of cycle through the different brightness modes that we'll go over in a minute. And if you double click on it, it goes to turbo mode, triple click goes to strobe. So definitely a lot of features and functionality with just a simple wheel and a single button. Now with the ThruNite Defender, I mentioned that you are getting an additional function. That's because there is a lockout function on the ThruNite Defender that allows you, when you put it in your pocket, to lock it out and make sure it never accidentally gets turned on and drains the battery. I do kind of like that. Aside from that though, the functionality is going to be near identical. Now each one of these is going to have the same basic modes, though they call them different. Over on the Olight, you do have their Moonlight, and then over here I believe they call it Firefly or something like that. Basically their ultra low light mode that is going to offer the best runtime. Then they each have a low, medium, and high, which is going to allow you to kind of dial in exactly the amount of light that you need. Additionally, they both have a turbo mode, which is where they're going to be at their brightest. Now the Olight is going to top out at 1300 lumens, while the Defender goes actually up to 1600 lumens and has a slightly greater throw that we're going to have to do some testing on when we actually go out into the field and test it. When it comes to the laser, they're virtually identical. I can tell no difference in using them. They're both rated at the same type of laser, same classification, so there's not a whole lot of difference there. The UV light, when you're using them independent of each other, that's where you really aren't going to see a whole lot of difference. They both function almost exactly the same and you get roughly the same results. Now when it comes to the actual size of the lights, I'll go ahead and put the actual measurements down to the millimeter on the screen. The ThruNite Defender is ever so slightly shorter, but it is a little bit thicker and a little bit wider. I will say when you hold the Olight in your hand, it feels like the smoother, kind of more refined light, whereas this one feels just a bit chunkier. But if I'm being completely honest, the difference when you actually put them side to side is going to be so slight that you're not going to notice it. Now they both feature a magnetic base that allows you to kind of put this on anything metallic and have it kind of suspended. For the most part, I found the magnet to be roughly identical on both lights. The difference is going to come next in the charging though, because the ThruNite Defender actually charges with USB-C through this kind of side port right here, while the Olight is going to charge from their proprietary magnetic base that you see on some of their more high-end flashlights. They both feature an internal battery that is going to be 1500 milliamp hours, so really not a lot of difference is going to be expected there in runtime. Now we are going to do a runtime test in their high mode, and you're going to be able to see that here in a second. And then kind of last but not least, they both do feature kind of the same functionality in a clip. This one is going to be just a little bit different in that I think it's meant to kind of sit deeper in your pocket, where this one is going to sit proud of your pocket just ever so slightly if you're kind of clipping onto your pocket with that. Really, that's the only difference you can really see there. Other than that, both of the clips kind of function almost identical to each other. All right, so now let's go ahead and get to the performance testing. We're going to show you both a duration test, kind of in a time lapse, and then we'll also go ahead and show you a comparison of the different modes, and then kind of come back here for a roundup and some final conclusions. So in practical use, the ThruNite Defender does appear to be the brighter flashlight. It's rated for higher lumens, it's rated for a longer throw, and when you use them side by side in the field, that's where you're definitely going to be able to see that, but it's not like what I'm seeing is something that is vastly superior. Both are going to be satisfactory in my opinion, especially where these are kind of meant to be more of a pocket EDC flashlight, where you're going to be carrying them around. They both feature enough brightness for that, but you're definitely going to be getting some additional performance out of the ThruNite Defender. Now, the last key area that I want to talk about is going to be price. Now, obviously, both of these are going to have their standard MSRP pricing, and they're both going to have sale prices that you're going to be able to get them at eventually. On ThruNite Defender's website, this one is going to be right around $75 on their website, whereas on Olight's website, you're going to be seeing the Olight going for $99. When on sale, they both obviously are going to go deeper than that. Right now on Amazon at the time of filming, you can get a 20% off code for this one that takes it down below $60. And obviously that is going to be a nice, intriguing price point for a lot of people. And while right now you can't get that same deal on the Olight, they do have a sale starting the day after this video goes live that's going to run for about a week. That's going to take this price down to $79. So definitely going to be getting a little bit more value price-wise by going with the ThruNite Defender, and only time is going to tell how it necessarily holds up. All right, so then with price out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about conclusions. I have loved the Olight Arkfeld Pro for quite some time. It's been in my tool bag. It's been carried with me in my pocket from time to time. It is a tremendously good flashlight, and definitely one that I think is nice, comfortable, and very functional to be able to carry around and use in your pocket every day. So then the ThruNite Defender being almost identical, coming in at a lower price point, that's where this one I think makes all the sense in the world for people who are looking at this style of flashlight, but have hesitated to pay the more premium price point for this. So when it comes down to it, these are both great flashlights, but ThruNite has definitely kind of been able to offer a compelling value for their ThruNite Defender. So if you've been wanting to check out this style of flashlight, but haven't wanted to pay the price, maybe this is the place that you turn. Go ahead and click on the link down below. It'll take you to the product page for this in case you have any questions. You can also leave those in the comments down below, and I'll try and get them answered for you. If you like this sort of video, go ahead and hit the like button. And as always, thank you for continued support. Thank you, ThruNite, for sending over this flashlight. And until next time, I will catch you on Tinker with Tools.